Welcome back to the channel. We are going to swap the rear axle in today. So just pretty much take this one out, put this one in. This one is no different than that one, except for it's an IFS width, so it's wider. Also, it's been rebuilt. But in that process, we will move the shock mounts, and then we will also be adding a track bar. So let's get that done. And then once that's all done, we'll finish out the transmission mount, and that'll pretty much be all the fab work underneath. Let's get to it. All right, got the original axle all stripped out, pushed that over here. So this one we are going to have to reset the spring perches, clean the axle. I'm gonna put it under there as is for now, and then I'll get everything all lined up, and then I'll mark out where I need to do it, and then we'll clean the axle tubes and get the pinion angle set. Pretty simple and quick. How the rear end's in. Shouldn't need spaces anymore. We already mostly centered it, but we're gonna take a couple more measurements, get it centered, get this thing at right height, set pinion angle before we mark out where the perches go. All right, so in order to set this at the correct pinion angle, we need to fully set the transfer case. This temporary setup was just so I could hold the drivetrain and work the front suspension. So now we're going to remove this, and it turns out we're going to end up running a doubler on this. We just don't have a lot of length on the front drive shaft there to keep it from binding. So we are going to pull this out, drop the transfer case down, put a doubler in it, and then pull it back, and then that way we can start getting that all mounted. Once that's all mounted, we can finish out the rear. All right, so I currently have this supported and the mount removed. So now we can cut this out. Alright, so the transfer case is back in with the doubler. We are going to throw some mounts on the frame. So I got some plates, fixed plates, and some mounts I made real quick. So we're going to get those all tacked in, and then we'll basically just do a tube across like before, but it will be removable, and then tie into this mount here, and then we'll finish it up. All right, so we got the transfer case mount all built. Now we just gotta pull it off, wall it all out. crossmember all welded out, and the transportation mount itself. Let them cool off, get them back in. Alright, the tcase is mounted again on its own weight with the double. Alright, so with the transfer case set, the rear axle we put some stands underneath it. We're going to put some weight on it to get it kind of close to ride height, or at ride height, and then we are going to use bolt the drive shaft up to set our pinion angle. I already have all these centered, so all we gotta do now is set the pinion angle, and then that way we can clean the axle and get it ready to weld out the perches and build the track bar. Alright, pinion angle is set. We just use the square tube because it fits on most everything to set it. And then now that it's all set, we can measure it for the drive shaft and get that built. Also, the new drive shaft will also be double cardan. So what that means is you want to point the diff out the transfer case. Being leaf springs in the rear, I like to set it about 1 to 3 degrees, somewhere in that range. Lower, just a little bit lower, so that when you're under throttle it points straight at it. Alright, I'm going to get the stands back set up so I can get weight on this, and then we're going to start designing the track bar mounts. Alright, you got the first portion. There's a bushing on each end, with a heim and a little shackle. So we're going to get this set up to be level with the drive shaft and as close to the center as possible. We'll have to make brackets for both sides since I don't have any, and then once we get the bottom set, then we'll set the top. Alright, we got this side all tacked up. We can still box it in and whatnot, but it's all tacked up, so we can start the axle side. Alright, the track bar is all tacked up. Same angle as the drive shaft here, slightly lower, and then the top one's level. All right, we're gonna get the gussets made real quick for this, and then we will move on to shock mounts. This frame side all welded up. Alright, everything's gusseted in, and then I threw some quick paint on it. That way we can put the track bar back in and don't have to take it back out. Just did some quick shock mounts because the upper side's already done and adjustable. So quick lower ones, and this axle's pretty much ready to be finished out.